All right, everyone, we got some fun times ahead. Of course, yesterday, Trump announcing that for America's 250th birthday, there is going to be a star-studded year-long event fixated partially in Iowa, actually, at the fairgrounds there, which is quite a large venue, if I remember correctly. They're going to have basically pavilions from all states set up and showcasing the history of the states, maybe cuisine. I'm hoping that there's state-by-state cuisine. Can you imagine crawling your way across the pavilions? You get 3 states in before you have to sit down and take a food coma, maybe. But it's going to be a big event. I have a feeling that showcasing like the state's industries, tourism, and stuff like that, like Vermont, there will be maple syrup at our pavilion. I assure you. New Hampshire will probably have maple syrup too, and we'll be able to jeer at them and laugh. I like New Hampshire. I was born there. Free state, live or die mentality. That's great, but our syrup is better. Sorry. There are a few things that Vermont simply does better than anyone else, and our maple syrup is one. I guarantee it. There's probably going to be like a 50-gallon drum of it for sampling or something like that. Anyway, I wanted to talk about Melania Trump, because she's going to serve as the hostess for this event. So she'll presumptively be there and speak about the greatness of America. She'll be able to tie in the fact that she's an immigrant, which is probably one reason why you'd want her as hostess. I wanted to rant, though, briefly about the terrible treatment that Melania Trump has suffered, keeping in mind this is not a public official. This is the wife of a public official. And so her role within the White House is largely non-political. I'm sure that the Trumps talk about politics. I mean, president/former president. I'm sure that, when they're at the dinner table, what Schumer just said, gets brought up and then everyone laughs at how fucking retarded it is and things like that. Largely, though, it's a ceremonial role. The First Lady organizes, Christmas decor and stuff like that, decorations, food, helps to organize things, and also acts as sort of, usually the kinder-faced advisor to the President of the United States. Melania did an absolutely spectacular job at this. And by the way, in the first term, because Barron was not 18 yet, took a backseat role and focused more on her son. They even discredited her for that. Where's Melania? Trump's not letting her go out in public because he beats her. Where's Melania? Well, she's just a shut-in now. Where's Melania? Trump doesn't want strong, empowered women around him, to countermand what he does. And a million fucking insults. The worst, though, was when one of her so-called friends decided to leak a phone call that she had had with Melania, pertinent to Christmas decor, actually. You'll remember that the first year that Melania set up the White House Christmas decorations, it was it looked almost imperialistic. A lot of shiny tinsel and crystals and stuff. Very, very hyper decorated. Very, very elaborate. And the legacy media said, well, this is too traditionalistic. It looks like she's trying to bring back white Christmas back from the 50s or 60s, like when America was more white, literally. She's a Nazi and stuff. And then they would, condemn her accent as well, which is funny because she speaks 4 languages conversationally, so she's no slouch when it comes to intellectual pursuits either. Again, I digress as always. So they rambled about it. And for days, they're going to do it, the first Christmas that the Trumps are decorating. They'll do it again probably, too. Of course, this is the last Christmas in the White House that Jill will be setting up. I'm sure it'll be received very, very well by all of the critics out there. So she said, okay, the legacy media didn't like it that I over-decorated, ostensibly, according to them. It was too shiny and there was too much going on. So then the next Christmas, what does she do? She decides to keep it minimalistic. And you had those fake red trees and stuff, very sparse decor. What did they do? Well, she didn't put in enough effort. It doesn't look very Christmassy. It looks bleak and Soviet. She's showing her Southeastern European mentality. They criticize her again. So she talks to her friend on the phone and says, I fucking hate Christmas at this point because these people just won't fucking leave me alone. Nothing that I do is ever enough. They tried to spin this, and proving her point, by the way, in their response to her response, say Melania Trump hates Christmas. Melania was just basically a whore beforehand, because she did some topless shoots at one point. She's just a trophy wife. She's a bimbo. What are you fucking talking about? She's got a degree. I thought strong, empowered women, healthy at any size and all of these other platitudes that they spew, and yet Melania is the one that slipped through the cracks. And I know why it is. Number one, because she's married to Donald Trump. Number two, because she doesn't take up the typical line. You would think the liberals are trying to convince everyone, for example, over Latino voters right now. They're all confused. Why did 45% of Latinos vote for Trump? Don't they know he wants to deport them all? When you point out there's a difference between legal immigrants and, in many cases, people who aren't immigrants at all, who simply happen to be Latino, and Pablo, who just walked across the Rio Grande during a dry spell, they just can't wrap their minds around it. So the other reason is she doesn't come from the United States originally, but she's part of an administration, again, in that, non-official capacity, that wants to secure the border. And it confuses them. Again, any other woman, if she releases, makes topless selfies, as long as she has a big D on her forehead and rambles about, the need to have third trimester abortions, that's perfectly fine. But Melania makes classy photos and ends up marrying into a different socioeconomic echelon. All of a sudden, it's a big problem simply because of who she's married to. Again, there are people. I can't remember who it was. What was that one moron that said, well, I think we should lock Barron Trump in a cage with pedophiles? Just the sickest shit that you've seen. Oh, yeah, try saying that. Well, I don't think Harris has kids, thankfully. Try saying, or does she? I can't remember. Try saying that about somebody from the Biden admin. And the legacy media is like, oh my God, you're so violent, you're a fascist, you're a pervert. Yeah, it would be pretty perverted to say. The thing is, it was said about Barron Trump, Melania's biological offspring. He's too tall. She doesn't smile enough. Yeah, so again, you have that long-term feminist trope. How dare you tell a woman she needs to smile more, and yet they say that about Melania all the time. Totally underrated as First Lady. Classy, intelligent, went through the same fucking shit as her husband and managed to come out with her head still aloft. So, yeah, I give her credit. And she's also definitely one of the top most attractive first ladies that's been in there. I think there are some people say, oh, you're simping for Melania. No, she's conventionally attractive. Like as in Jackie Kennedy, conventionally attractive mode, as opposed to being haggard, like Hillary Clinton or something. And the sad thing, when she was actually First Lady, Hillary Clinton would have been in the top half. I hate to tell you this. It's really, really sad. Fuck, Laura Bush looks better than some of them. Look at Jill Biden, for example. That's about all. Peace out.